and respective guests and do not reflect the views and opinions of the show staff, the sponsors, guests past or present, or the management of Furry Frequencies. This show discusses adult topics and uses adult language. Listener discretion is advised. This show is intended for an 18-plus audience. Hello and welcome to Furry Frequencies, the soundtrack to your furry life. I'm Lifty, and joining me on the podcast is Silox.
Hey, how's it going?
And we've got a great episode tonight. This has kind of been very spur of the moment because new information and news has just kind of been flying at us about this for a while, and people are starting to talk about it right now. And that is, of course, the recent hubbub regarding PornHub, if that makes sense. So yeah, big news happening with PornHub, and of course a lot of furries with ADs. They're going to be surprised and shocked at what's going on with PornHub. So we are here to report on it and figure out what's going on. Also, we did notice that there was a specific party, a little shindig that was taking place about a couple weeks ago in Rosemont, to take place of the actual MFF that's supposed to be happening there. We got the scoop on that and what we think about it. But first, Silox, who is sponsoring tonight's episode?
Tonight's episode is sponsored by Bang Bros. Well, Bang Bros is a pornography site where bros like to bang. I don't know if they're banging each other. I don't know if they're banging women. All I know is at bangbros.com, they like to bang. So if you're interested in watching bros bang, go to bangbros.com and get your bro on. Bang Bros. It's porn for everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you. And so, because we're talking about a bunch of topics, of course, we know that you in the furry community would love to talk about it and also discuss your feelings and thoughts about what's going on. And some of you may not know the best way to talk into this podcast. Of course, you can call in, but there is a very specific way to call in. You know how it is? Do you know what to do?
I don't. I know you do, because you're smart.
Oh,
you're smart.
Well, you're smart too. You were smart too. So, anyway, the best way to call in is to, first of all, go to our Twitter page, at Furry Frequency on Twitter, and you scroll down a little bit, and there it is. So at the very top of our Twitter feed, you have a tweet that's pinned, and right here in the big FF that greets you as you are scrolling through our feed, click on that, and that will send you to our special Furry Frequencies Discord. It will send you, first of all, to the important README page. There's a lot of rules and ways of how to call in. Very important. There's a lot of things there that we definitely want everybody to read and understand. And then when you do understand, just jump into the waiting room, chill, hang out, chat, and just make yourself comfortable while you're listening to us or while you're waiting for somebody to take your call. And moderators are standing by to take your call. So, without further ado, let us begin. So let's start off by talking about what the hell is going on with PornHub. Well, I'll tell you.
Yes, PornHub.
Yes. Actually, before we start, let's just give you a little bit of ASMR, courtesy of Perrier. There we go. Oh yeah, let's hear the bubbly going out there. There we are. Beautiful, beautiful. And then, the pull. Oh, yes. Oh, it's splashing. A little bit of splashies. There we go.
That's good.
I don't want it splashing all over my expensive computer equipment. This is some expensive studio equipment we got here up in Seagert. So
Yeah,
I don't want it to...
$5 at a swap meet over in Canton. Expensive my ass.
Oh, come on. Okay, I spent $5 on the equipment, but I spent $5,000 on this Connex box that we use as a studio, okay? And it's nicely, and it's in a nice neighborhood in Seagert. I've never been broken into. Then again, I use like 4 padlocks every night.
Mm-hmm.
Never been broken into. So we're safe. It's a very nice, safe neighborhood here in Seagert. All you hear are just the sounds of the tractor trailers and the occasional gunshot out in the distance. Very nice neighborhood up Seagert. But anyway, enough of that. So anyway, back to PornHub. So very recently, we've started noticing some things going on with PornHub, and it actually came out subtly. Like all this news and hubbub about PornHub really just started coming out subtly. So how it began is actually very innocuous. So if you're a reader of the New York Times, you would have seen this. This is an opinion piece called "The Children of PornHub." Why does Canada allow this company to profit off videos of exploitation and assault? And this is, of course, by Nicholas Kristoff. I don't know why this is there, but anyway. So this is, of course, the no holds barred opinion piece on what is going on with Pornhub regarding sexual exploitation and child pornography. This person, Serena K. Flights, is 19, but she says that when she was 14, a boy had her make a naked video and submit it to Pornhub. And of course it did. There's also a story here of a 15-year-old girl that went missing in Florida, and her mother found her on Pornhub in 58 sex videos. There's also the tags. So here's part of the story. Its site is infested with rape videos. It monetizes child rapes, revenge porn, spy cam videos of women showering, racist and misogynist content, and footage of women being asphyxiated in plastic bags. A search for quote-unquote girls under 18, no space, or 14YO leads in each case to more than 100,000 videos. Oh my goodness. Look at that. 100,000 videos. And of course this is a really long it's hardly an opinion piece. It's more like a big expose, because there's quite a lot of research, several stories, first-hand accounts that are in this piece. It's actually very impressive how much is written about Pornhub in this story. But if you think that this story is enough to just be considered opinion and that's it, well, you're wrong, because somebody very important and very powerful picked up on this story, was reading this story, and promptly spat out their coffee. And that individual are the cards, the payment processors of the world: Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. And when
I like how you conveniently forgot American Express, as if they don't exist.
Nobody uses American Express. Nobody gives a shit about Nobody gives a shit about American Express. It's irrelevant to the story at hand. So yes, Visa, MasterCard, and Discover Card, they were very riled up at the fact that Pornhub has all of these videos under their umbrella, and of course that they are allowing people to pay for content on Pornhub with their credit cards. And I know that people do not read those tiny little card holder agreements when you get them.
Not.
No, nobody reads those. Just like you don't read the terms of service when you download anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure if you take the time to read through the card holder agreements, you'll find somewhere in there an agreement saying that, we will not accept any charges for illicit activity or whatever. If we find out your card is declined, you will not be getting a card with us anymore. So, back to the story. Visa, in particular, was very, very upset that people are using Visa cards to pay for Pornhub content. And so they promptly decided to end all ties with Pornhub as of that moment. This actually took place around the 6th of December. So, yeah, it's about the 15th now, so this is about the 6th. The reason why we didn't report it on it back when it happened, of course, was because we had other local news that we had to report on, basically the closure of FA United. And that's, of course, what we covered in our last podcast. Very riveting episode. Go ahead and check it out. So here's the next piece of the story that very few people that are angry about this actually mention, is that MasterCard actually did their own investigation before taking action. And guess what? They found videos of child pornography as stated in the original New York Times article. So here it says, the credit card company, which accepts payments on the website, said on Sunday it has zero tolerance for illegal activity on its network, and that it works closely with law enforcement and organizations such as the National and International Center for Missing and Exploited Children to detect and prevent those types of transactions. So, of course, it talks about the Times column written by Pulitzer Prize winner Nicholas Kristof that I just went over. Pornhub denied the allegations initially. So, actually, what did happen is that MasterCard did have an investigation, and lo and behold, they did find child pornography and rape videos as stated in the column that was in the New York Times. And they're, of course, also investigating other websites for potential illegal content. So what happened, for those of you trying to keep score, Visa, MasterCard, and Discover have suspended the use of their cards on Pornhub. So therefore, if you try to buy, Pornhub Premium? Is that what they offer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you try to buy a Pornhub Premium subscription on with Visa or MasterCard, you're going to be declined because they know where it's coming from and they don't like that place. And so they're shutting down all transactions with Pornhub. Discover has also cut services with Pornhub. And oh wait, hold up. Remember what I was saying about American Express?
Yes.
So this CNN article is saying that American Express has prohibited its cards from being accepted on Pornhub as part of a long-standing policy on digital adult content sites.
Ooh.
And PayPal has cut its payment services to Pornhub back in 2019. So this is like a death by 1,000 cuts, it looks like. Because, if you can't pay with Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, PayPal, What's left? Bitcoin? Are they going to go the Bitcoin route?
They're going to have to go somewhere to get money.
Yeah.
Or they can go the way of making a subscription-based site.
Well,
in which case they have to go with something like Venmo.
Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah. So, despite the fact that Pornhub has repeatedly denied these allegations and has tried to deny the findings of the MasterCard investigation that uncovered child porn and rape on Pornhub, there was a new development that happened yesterday, just yesterday. They purged all unverified content from their platform. Over 8 million videos are gone from Pornhub. And this is, of course, yesterday. Motherboard by Vice, they reported on it yesterday at 7 a.m. And, yeah. So, this is apparently, supposedly, a policy. They're trying to quote it as a policy issue. They're saying, as part of our policy to ban unverified uploaders, we have now also suspended all previously uploaded content that was not created by content partners or members of the model program. This means that every piece of Pornhub content is from verified uploaders, a requirement that platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, and Twitter have yet to institute. So let's take 5 for a minute and just absorb everything that we just learned here. What the hell's going on?
Well, what's going on is that Pornhub finds itself in a bit of a pickle here, because their site had instances of child pornography, and pedophilia, and sex slavery spread throughout their videos, and because of that, they had to purge millions of videos and users from the site. And now, because of that, the only people who can have videos on here are verified users.
So it's interesting that you mentioned verified users, because in this Motherboard article, it pretty much kind of alludes the fact, or it leads to believing that the only people that could actually upload to Pornhub now are professional porn stars. Like, you have to be official content partners or members of its model program. So, I mean, I would fathom to guess. I follow. Okay, I admit, I follow a lot of ADs on Twitter. I'm sure you do too. Socks. Yeah, exactly.
I do.
Yeah. And I know that a few of these ADs, they like to show off on Pornhub. They have videos on Pornhub. I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure their videos are gone now. But I don't know if they're going to take the route to try and get verified at all in the wake of all this. I know that some of the ADs that I watched, they've started going to other platforms like OnlyFans or Subscribestar, which are a little more friendlier towards adult content, and especially OnlyFans. They've taken off with people who want to be a little more risque with how they show off their body. I don't know if they're actually going to take a moment to be verified, but just for shits and giggles, let's look at what the verification requires of users who want to be verified on Pornhub. And here it is. Pornhub's verification page. So it says, in order to be eligible for the model program, you must get verified by our Pornhub staff. Verification proves to users that you are real and that you are the one uploading your own videos, which makes them more likely to trust and want to connect with you. Verification images must be submitted via the verification image uploaded. So, hold on a minute. So what do I need to be verified? All you need to be verified is a PornHub account, an avatar, profile image, and a verification image. You must upload your verification image via the verification uploader. So, and then as you look through here, successfully pass the verification process, you need to submit a verification image that corresponds to the gender on your profile. Okay. So there's something glaringly obvious that's missing from this verification, and I'm wondering if you can notice it.
Well,
If you're listening, you will pick up on it too, because if that means you're paying attention. What is it, Silax?
No, they don't ask for how to prove someone's age.
Exactly. Interesting
Anybody
that despite being stabbed or despite trying to go through this death by 1,000 cuts with Visa, MasterCard, Amex, PayPal, Discover, just ditching PornHub over the findings of child porn and rape on the site, it's amazing that they do not include at all a way to verify your age. And I'm like, really PornHub? I mean, come on. You really want to be like, you really want to go through this twice? I mean, it's amazing that they really care more about your face, you holding up a sign with your username and PornHub written on it, or it can be written on your body. They care about your gender in a time when, people are exploring their gender and may not actually conform to the gender that they express outwardly. They really do care about your gender, because look at this. The sign is blurry or illegible. That rejects you. You forgot to include either your username or pornhub.com or the sign. That rejects you. Sign was not written by hand. That rejects you. We can't clearly see your face in the photo. That rejects you. But nowhere does it say that you're rejected because you are underage. Like, it's like what? This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And I know that there are people on Twitter and Facebook that are sounding off about this, about all of these things that just happened with Pornhub. And they're going off on MasterCard, they're going off on Visa, they're going off on Republicans, they're going off on alt-right, they're going off on Nazis about Pornhub because they believe that this is going to endanger their line of sex work. But at the same time, look at this. You're trying to defend a platform that will not learn from its mistakes. And this is not the first time. This is not the first time that this shit has been brought up to Pornhub. And they're still not learning. When they're cut off at the knees by every payment processor, they're still not learning. And then you want to just continue to bitch and moan and say, well, this is going to hurt my career. Well, find another platform. Because Pornhub is killing you. Pornhub doesn't care about you. Because they do this stupid shit that gets them in trouble and you in trouble as well. Every time. They don't learn. This is amazing. This is crazy. I mean, it's easy to blame MasterCard and Visa and all the other payment processors that ditched Pornhub. But at the same time, I'm looking at this and wondering, why in the hell aren't the users of Pornhub actually demanding that Pornhub clean itself up? Why is it that it's so easy to just point and blame all the time, but you're not looking?
That's what it is.
What is what?
The people pushing for this, who are the same ones who are all in favor of FOSTA and SESTA. And by the way, what you don't see is this sets a very dangerous precedent. First, they started PornHub. Someone can also levy claims against OnlyFans. Someone can also levy claims against Furry Frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
What happens there? Well, that gets shut down. These people who are all for this are the same people who have an ulterior motive in that they don't like porn whatsoever. Porn to them is icky. So it's like, it's a good cause wrapped up behind an ulterior motive. There are better ways to root out child porn, pedophilia, and child sex slavery.
I know.
Telling websites to purge their content, that's not the right way. Because what you do is, you do hurt the people who do make a living. Especially now, during a pandemic, when you have to find ways to work. People are out of work. Mm-hmm. And guess what sells? Guess what is recession-proof? Porn. Porn is always going to be recession-proof. You know why? Because people are fucking horny. They're horny nonstop. And when you take away someone's ability to sell their bodies in that way, you hurt their income. It's not their fault that they have to be punished because the website is lax when it comes to regulation. If you want to tackle that, tell them to manually go around and root out those people. Don't just do a blanket ban and you find out, oh, well, we took 1 million videos down and that may have killed, videos from people who actually need it. Yeah. Like, for starters, they could just clearly say, hey, maybe do something that will help with age identification. Mm-hmm. The credit card companies could say that straight up in a written letter. Mm-hmm. And you don't even have to go around purging all these videos. There are a lot of ways to deal with child sex slavery, pedophilia, and all that on these porn sites. Purging is not the way, because you know what happens? Those people, guess what? You're going to move to another site, and another site, and another site. So the process is going to keep on going. If you just take away their access, they're just going to move.
So, well, I do kind of agree with you where, Pornhub should have been self-regulating. They should have been regulating all this and should have been verifying the fact that their users are 18 and that people that are uploading to the site are 18, as well as the people that are consuming this content are 18, as well as everybody that's involved in that image or in that video is also 18. They gotta verify that, but it doesn't look like they're doing that. And that's the thing. That has to be demanded by the users. That can't be demanded by the payment processors. It's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy that Visa and MasterCard are blowing the whistle on Pornhub right now because of all the things that you said, that it affects the income of sex workers that are dependent on Pornhub income to just get through this pandemic. And you're right. But if Pornhub is not willing to change, then there's nothing that you can do. The credit card companies, they're washing their hands clean of this shit. They don't want anything to do with this. They're trying to distance themselves away from any and all instances of exploitation, pedophilia, and rape. They don't want to be involved with that. They don't want their products to be involved with that. They don't want any connection to that. So they're taking action in the way that in the only way that they can. That is to basically end ties with this site. And it is a tragedy. It's a tragedy for the sex workers that depend on Pornhub. But you gotta demand this from Pornhub. You can't let the payment processors be the ones making the shots. You, as users, have got to call the shots. And you've got to tell Pornhub, hey, you need to clean this shit up. You need to take this shit off Pornhub. And I don't think people have been doing that. People have been too busy fapping to the videos on Pornhub to actually look at Pornhub and wonder, hey, is that little girl old enough? She looks a little young. No, they just keep fapping. And, now we're in this mess where 8 million videos were removed from Pornhub in one fell swoop. And I honestly don't think that Pornhub is going to fix itself to the point where they're going to be able to persuade their payment processors back. So they're going to have to. So they're eventually going to be fighting for their survival. All because they did not take action prior to this to prevent this from being uploaded on their platform. And also the users did not speak up to prevent this from happening. So the payment processors sounded the horn. I mean, it is what it is. And unfortunately, it means that the payment processors are taking their ball and going home. And that's pretty much leaving Pornhub almost literally with their dick in their hand. For lack of a better analogy. Anyway, on a little bit of a much more lighthearted topic, do we got any phone calls, by the way? Anybody?
Oh, we do not.
We do not. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. We can go on. We can move on. I would like to, of course, if you do have any opinions after the show about the Pornhub ban, feel free to contact us via our Twitter page at Furry Frequencies. And of course, here it is. The conversation always continues on our Twitter page. And also you can leave a comment. We do like reading comments on our videos, and sometimes we do read comments on the air. So yeah. But anyway, moving on to our next topic. This is a bit of checking our list or making a list and checking it twice. And by that list, we're talking about the naughty list. It's almost Christmas time, and some of you have been quite naughty. And I don't mean Knotty. No. I'm talking about naughty. Not nice, naughty.
You know who you are.
Oh, yeah. You know who you are. So, a couple weeks ago, we had what would have been the weekend of MFF. However, it was completely uneventful due to the restrictions regarding coronavirus. However, we found out that wasn't stopping some people. And a small group of furries decided, to hell with the coronavirus. We are doing our own thing. We are setting up our own MFF. And they put out this. It says MFF meet details and guidelines. Stuff to keep in mind. By coming to this event, you acknowledge that you are putting yourself at risk for getting COVID, period. If you're able to get a COVID test in the coming days or even post an event, I would suggest doing so just so you are aware of your own well-being and aren't spreading unknowingly. If you cannot get a test, that's fine. It's more for your own knowledge anyways. I will attach Cook County's current restriction. The biggest concern I've heard in regard to these restrictions is the quarantine put in place for people from out of state, especially from high-impact states. There is no enforcement on this, so it is a non-concern. We currently have 5 rooms associated with this group of attendees, 3 suites and 2 double rooms to visit, but based on our room types, each hotel will be in a different wing or tower of the hotel, which brings me to the next point. We cannot look like an obvious party. Ooh, we cannot look like it's a party because coronavirus likes parties, and we don't like coronavirus. We don't want to invite coronavirus unknowingly. No. Cook County has a 10-person gathering limit currently. We obviously push this. This means really try not to room hop super often or move in large groups. This is one of the only things we could possibly get into trouble for. Feel out the waters with fursuiting publicly. Outdoors shouldn't be an issue, but inside the lobby might be tricky since they'll have likely taken away any seating areas. The sky bridge is completely unknown. Please be respectful, obviously. The chances of not safe for work is high at this event. With that being said, please be respectful of others. Please take it to the bedroom, private space, or at the least consent of everyone. Or what? Private space or at the least consent of everyone around? What the hell does that mean? We have limited space and not everyone wants to witness you get railed in the middle of the room while they're just trying to hang out and chat. Lastly, this isn't a real con. Remember that. Don't be reckless. If you are, it could easily come back to bite all of us. Plain and simple. Well, unfortunately, it already did before it even happened. So, of course, somebody blew the whistle on this meet and got the attention of the actual staff of MFF, who are busy getting together their virtual event that's supposed to be happening this weekend. And they were a little bit upset that people were coming to the Hyatt Regency in Rosemont to set this up in defiance of Cook County regulations regarding COVID. And also using their name for this meet that is unofficial and not sanctioned at all by any means by Midwest Fur Fest. And even more so, let's see, I've got some more pictures here. So the dude that's set up all of this is Eon Fox. And here is a little bit of a snippet of a Telegram chat that he had with somebody that he wanted to invite over. The person that he tried to invite declined for obvious reasons. But back in November 7th, they decided to pretty much say, getting some friends together to do what? Well, party. Okay, because that's what I do. And so they're doing an MFF thing at the Hyatt 3rd through the 7th. Since you are local, I wanted to see if you wanted to drop in. Silox, you have some strong things to say about this according to what you said last week. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have the floor.
These people are incredibly stupid, and the fact that they would risk getting in trouble with not only Cook County authorities, but the hotel and MFF just so they could have sex and party is mind-boggling. I mean, what did they hope to accomplish with this? Ooh, look at me in my first at MFF. Here, take pictures. Look at me, I'm so cool. Like, I don't get what the point was, other than to meet up and have sex. And, you know, speaking of...
It was for the clout.
Pretty much. I mean, COVID be damned, you know?
Yeah.
You know, forget probably taking COVID back home and spreading it to our parents or our family and them dying. You know, look at me taking this picture and I like it and favorite it and be jealous you weren't there. Speaking of sex, there was one person who wasn't Louisiana supposed to come up.
Yeah.
His name is Master Kenny G.
Yep, and I have a screenshot here. Oh, that's him right there. If you can't read it, I will zoom in. There you go. So that you can read in all this glory his confirmation to come to this Midwest Fuckfest. That's MKG responding, I'm so down. And of course, this is his itinerary for this event. He's flying. Okay, so let's first of all set up a scene here. Master Kenny G, he lives in Louisiana, and he is flying on the Saturday all the way to Chicago O'Hare, staying one night, and flying back Sunday morning. First of all, who the fuck does this? Who does this?
An idiot.
Who the fuck actually spends all this money on one night of hotel stay, round trip just for less than what? 24 hours? You're staying less than 24 hours in Chicago? All for a little bit of fuck? For a little crumb of dick? For 2 tiddlywinks of cum? Really? Really?
You have to realize who this is. This is Master Kenny G. His entire time in this fandom is built around one thing: having sex. That's all. That's all he's known for.
Okay.
Is being a cum dumpster and a disgusting slut. He offers nothing else redeemable.
Hold on a minute, because I'm sexual, and from one sexual brother to another, I want to speak to Master Kenny G. Bruh, this is not it. You have an addiction to sex, and this is what brought you here. To be shamed at by a couple of chuckle fucks who are really just sitting at home trying to, like, make sure that we're not running ourselves crazy from all these COVID restrictions. And meanwhile, you think it is important that you gotta go to this party. Coronavirus be damned, I'm gonna have a dick up my ass. Bruh, you don't spend one night in Chicago. You don't spend a round trip less than 12 hours in Chicago or anywhere just to fuck. Like, seriously, what in the fuck? This is barely a vacation. This is literal fuck you money that you're spending right here. Literal fuck you money. And basically giving a giant middle finger to the rest of the furry community that, of course, can't do anything at MFF because there is no MFF. It's all virtual right now. And you're basically just wagging your dick at everybody, just like Tekashi 6ix9ine gave those middle fingers when he got out of prison because of COVID. Like, basically, Master Kenny G has got to be like the Tekashi 6ix9ine of this fandom, because right now he gives zero fucks.
He is.
He gives absolutely zero fucks whatsoever. But I'm just saying, stop.
Comments with like RP speak. It's like, what's that key binding? The one that looks like a star.
That's a star.
It's a star on the keyboard. That's a star.
Yeah. You mean the one right over the 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shift 8.
Yeah. So you would do that and then put coughs on you, and it's like, that's so fucking immature.
Well, that's
like,
because he absolutely gives zero fucks, and he really has no reason to have done this, nor does he have a justification for anything that he did. He's just like, well, fuck it, I did it, whatever. Coof.
Waste of space. I'm sorry, that there's nothing redeemable.
Master Kenny G, from one sexual brother to another, please get help. You have an addiction to sex, and we know, everybody knows it. This is not just me. This is not me kink shaming you. This is me telling you need to get help. This is your cry for help. This is the sign that everybody needs to see to tell you that you need to get help, that this is an addiction now, that you revolve your life around sex to the point where you will go across the country for one night a dick. Just one night a dick. Really? Is it worth it? If you get COVID, is it worth it? If your family gets COVID, is it worth it? If your friends get COVID, is it worth it? I'm sorry, but if you get COVID from your friends because your friends were being horribly, horribly irresponsible, like they're not even wearing masks, they're not social distancing, they're doing everything they can to completely downplay this virus, whatever, you don't deserve friends like that. You really don't deserve friends like that. You deserve to have better people that care about you. And Master Kenny G, I'm sorry, but you do not sound like that kind of person. And if you want to talk about it, feel free to talk about it to us directly. If you feel like you are so offended by what we're saying to you. But let it just be clear. Let us just be crystal clear. We are not kink shaming Master Kenny G. We're not kink shaming anybody who attended this. We're calling all of you who attended massive fucking idiots for, first of all, being so cavalier against the Cook County restrictions that you would risk being fined for flouting these restrictions, or possibly even worse. You're acting so cavalier about these restrictions that you would go there in a state that you don't live in to host this party, have other people from states that they don't, from other states, come in, have this party, mingle and have and party and fuck and drink and puke and whatever, and you don't care. And let me just tell you another thing. So let's go back to this. This whole MFF meet details. So it says right here, if you're able to get a COVID test in the coming days, or even post an event of whatever. Some of the English on this is just atrocious, and not only that, look at the spacing, look at the kerning on this bullshit. What the fuck is this? This hurts my eyes. What the hell? Somebody please teach this person proper typesetting. Like this is triggering. This is insulting. Just looking at this. Never mind reading it. But anyway, no. Let me tell you something about COVID testing. Because it says right there in the first bullet point, if you're able to get a COVID test in the coming days or even post an event, I would suggest doing so just so you are aware of your own well-being and aren't spreading unknowingly. Okay, I need to pop a bubble about COVID testing here. COVID testing, when you get a COVID test, it only tests right up to when you take the test. So that COVID test is only a snapshot of when you get tested. Like the moment you get that swab up your nose, that's it. It only captures that moment. And then in most instances, unless you're a member of government or a celebrity, you're usually having to get the usual test, the PCR test that everybody else gets, and you have to wait about 72 hours at least for your test results to arrive. And in that time, you don't know what's going on with your body. You don't know if you have it or not. In 72 hours time, there's so many unknowns that could happen between the moment you take the test and the moment you get your test results. And guess what? The moment you get your test results and it says that you are negative, guess what your chances of having the coronavirus are? Go ahead, take a guess.
50%.
Exactly. Absolutely, exactly. It is 50-50. The COVID test, when you get your test that says it's negative, it only means that at the time that you took the test, the very moment you took the test, there was no trace of the virus in you or on the swab. After you take the test, you could be infected. You could be infected the day you get your test results. You can be infected the day after you get your test results. You could get infected the day you leave to go to this event. So what am I trying to say by this? I'm trying to say the very simple thing. Unless you have a sickness that has the similar symptoms to COVID testing is useless. If you are trying to use a COVID test to determine whether or not you should travel or go to some event somewhere else, or you're trying to prove that you're COVID negative, no. COVID testing is completely useless in that regard, because it only tests the snapshot of when you take the test. It doesn't tell you that you don't have the virus or that you won't get it if you are test negative. Everybody seems to think that when you get a negative test result for COVID, it's this magical talisman that protects you from getting the virus for like a week, or as long as you hold it in front. It's not magic. It's not some magic talisman or anything. These COVID tests, they're not magic. They only test specifically for that exact moment that you test. And so saying that, oh yeah, just take a COVID test before you go over here and then you'll be fine. No! You can easily get the virus. And so even more so, to even explain further why this is useless. Say you get your test results and they show up as negative. Okay, so between the day that you tested and the day you got test results, you have to ensure that you have no contact with anybody. And then from the moment you get your test results to the moment that you arrive in this event, which I don't know how long ago that might be, you also have to ensure at that time period that you have no contact with anybody else. You can't risk contacting anybody because they might have COVID and they might spread it to you. And then once you arrive, you still can't have any contact with anybody. And then better yet, everybody that you socialize with, i.e. everybody in this party, has to also abide by the same stringent guidelines that you just undertook. I.e., everybody that you socialize with has to have no contact with anybody else, or they risk getting the virus. Now, what are the chances of that going off perfectly? 0. Statistically speaking, it is a big fat 0. It is way closer to 0 than 1. So, let me just, I know that we want to get tested, and we as a society, we as a country, love to get COVID tested just so we have our peace of mind that we don't have the virus at that time. But honestly, we have so much that we believe about COVID testing that we think is true about COVID testing, especially about testing negative for COVID, that is simply not true at all. By the time you get the COVID test results, you could already be infected and you wouldn't even know it. So this whole event is so irresponsible and so unbelievably dumb that I don't understand what Eon Fox was going through his head, other than, oh yeah, I got a party. My God, man. Calm your tits. Pacify thy memories, for fuck's sake. Because good Lord, this is just so over the top that I can't believe. I'm actually surprised that that not many of the furry media is actually harping on this. But yeah, amazing that this was going on, and of course it got found out. Master Kenny G is banned from Midwest Fur Fest permanently. So yeah, enjoy that ban. You earned it, you dipshit. Now you're not gonna get any fucks from Rosemont. Ugh. Silex, you got anything to say? You've been quiet.
Look at the mod chat.
Oh. Anyway. Anyway. So, anyway, we've been yapping about this for quite a bit. So, we're gonna kind of cut it close, and we're gonna cut it a little early tonight, especially since we kind of started the podcast late. Thank you again for the one viewer that decided to join us. But if you do like what you hear, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Furry Frequencies. And if you do like also what you hear, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube page. And if you also like what you hear, or you'd like to read what we just kind of muse about every so often, feel free to like, comment, and retweet our tweets on Twitter at Furry Frequencies. And here it is again for your amusement, right there. Yeah, Furry Frequencies at Furry Frequency. We have of course our Cybertruck that we are podcasting Cybertruck here at the very top. And we will have some big announcements to come up with in the next few episodes, but we are currently just winding down 2020, and thank God that we are, because this year has sucked. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This year has been like the worst year ever, and I'm just so happy. I don't even give a shit what I get for Christmas, as long as I get an ending to 2020. That would make me very happy, because this year sucks. But anyway, if you do like our musings, feel free to follow us on Twitter at Furry Frequency. That way you can keep track of our newest episodes, as well as any links and new announcements that we make. And feel free to be a fan. So anyway, with that said, it is time to end. Thank you very much for joining us for another exciting episode of Furry Frequencies. This has been Furry Frequencies, signing off with Lifty.
And Silox.
Thank you again for joining us, and you have a wonderful night.